Hello and welcome to another mindful movement session where we'll be focusing on hips and hamstrings. And in the title it says intermediate, but that's just a way of saying listen to your body, challenge yourself, breathe through the discomfort. But if there's any pain, always trust your body and your instincts first. So let's start in child's pose position with our big toes touching and our knees wide. Arms are outstretched towards the top of the mat and palms are making contact with the ground. Forehead is making contact with the ground. The legs, feeling those points of contact between your body and the floor beneath you. And let's come into tabletop position. We'll start by taking a few rounds of cat and cow, matching breath with movement. Inhale for cow pose, looking forward, and exhale, rounding through the spine for cat. Coming through cow, squeeze those shoulder blades together and exhale, chin to chest. And we'll lift the right knee off the mat for some hip circles, circling the knee around, keeping the leg bent. Switch directions, closing the circle, going up and then down towards the ground. Gentle hip opener here, and switch sides. Keeping that bend in the left leg, circling the knee around, out and up towards the ceiling, switch directions, coming up and then towards the ground. Gentle hip opener, replace the left knee onto the mat. Tuck those toes and lift the hips to the sky for downward facing dog, dropping your chest down towards the ground. Slight bend in the knees to help elongate the spine. Our back flexibility can actually sometimes hinder the flexibility of our hips and hamstrings. And let's bring our feet mats width distance apart so we're in a wide-legged down dog. Walk your hands in a couple of inches. Drop your chest towards the mat. With the left arm, reach around and grab the outside of the right leg. That can be the knee, the shin, the ankle. Looking underneath the right armpit, you're gently drawing your torso down towards that right leg. If you need to have bent knees, that's okay too. Return back to center, switch sides, right arm reaches around for that left leg, can be the ankle, the knee, the shin, maybe different than the other side. You're looking underneath that left armpit, gently drawing the torso down towards the left leg. Take a deep breath and return back to center on your exhale, walking your hands and your feet back to a normal down dog position. Take a breath here, full round of breath. And lift the right toes to the sky. Reach the toes towards the ceiling and drop the heel towards the hips. And circle that ankle around. Same thing we did in tabletop position. Hip openers. Switch directions. A couple more here. Before you reach those right toes to the sky once more for three-legged dog, and draw the right foot to the top of the mat for a low lunge. Untuck the back toes, sink your hips down towards the ground, and we're going to shift forwards and backwards from half splits to low lunge. Like a hip lubricator, as my teacher would call it. On your inhale, you come forward. On your exhale, you sink the hips back for half splits. Inhale, come forward and hold low lunge. Swing the arms up towards the ceiling. Reach for the sky, palms are facing one another. Hug the low belly in to protect the spine here. On your next exhale, shift the hips back for half splits. We're high on the heel of that right foot, drawing the toes back towards the shin. Foot is flexed. And drop your head down towards the ground, framing that right leg with the arms. And shifting weight into that right leg for Skandasana, side lunge on the right side. Left leg is elongated. Turn towards the back of your mat, plant the hands, and inhale the left toes to the sky for three-legged dog. Reaching the toes up towards the ceiling. Take a bend in your left knee and start to circle the whole leg around, opening through the hip. And switch directions. Same thing a few times here, getting the full range of motion in that left leg before extending the toes up towards the sky and Plant the foot at the top of the mat for a low lunge. Drop the back knee and untuck the toes and shift your hips back for half splits. Moving with your breath. On your inhale, you come forward for a low lunge. Sink the hips towards the ground, and on your exhale, you shift back, moving at the pace of your own breath. Next time you come forward, inhale those arms up towards the sky, reaching the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Sink your hips down towards the ground and breathe. Big breaths. Allow it to expand the chest, to soften the shoulders. Next exhale, sink your hips for half splits. High on the heel of that left leg. Think about drawing your left hip down towards the ground, keeping it in line with the right. And on your next breath, come forward for Skandasana. Bend in that left leg, right leg is extended. Flex through the right foot. And starting to shift side to side in Skandasana. Beginning to incorporate the arms, letting it be a full body movement. Remembering to allow it to feel fluid and natural, organic to your own body. And let's find wide-legged forward fold. Lift through the chest, inhale, flat back, reach the crown of the head forward, and exhale, grab either ankle and draw your torso down towards the ground. Drop the crown of the head towards the floor. Think about creating a line of energy from the toes to the tailbone, down to the crown of the head. And with both hands, we'll reach around and grab that right leg. Draw the torso down towards the ground. If you notice weight is heavily in the heels, see if you can shift it forward so it's in both the toes and the heels. And switch sides. Both hands reach around and grab that left leg. Draw the torso down towards the ground. Feel that side body stretch as well as the hamstring stretch. Squeezing the quads and the muscles around the knee. Let's come back through center. Inhale up to standing and drop the hips for goddess pose. Our toes are turned out and our heels are turned in this time compared to wide-legged forward fold. And you're going to bring your hands to your knees, placing them right above the knees. Turning your fingertips down towards the ground. Drop your right shoulder towards the center of the mat. Come back through center and drop the left shoulder to the mat. And continue here, matching breath with movement. Really twisting through the mid to upper back. Last time on each side before coming back to center, straightening those legs out. Inhale the arms up towards the ceiling. Turn the left toes forward and the right toes out. Arms come out to a T. Reach all the way forward towards the front of the room and then drop the left hand down towards the ground. Right hand is reaching for the sky, open through the chest. Reaching from hand to hand. If you have the space, hook the right hand at the low back. Drawing the shoulder blade down the back, opening through the chest. Deep breath in. Feel the chest expand, heart space expands. Soften the muscles of the face. Unhook that right arm and reach the bicep towards the ear. Fingertips come towards the top of the mat. Side body stretch here. Open the chest towards the sky. Deep breath. Bring the right hand down towards the ground. Step the right foot up to the left. And find a forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Hands come to the shin and fold forward once more. Flowing here a few times. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, folding over the thighs. Inhale, flat back, crown of the head forward, tailbone back. And drop the head down towards the ground. Taking a bend if you need in your legs. We're going to roll up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Arms will sweep up towards the sky. Lift the left leg in towards the torso, crossing the ankle across the right knee. Sink the hips down towards the ground for figure 4. Hands can come to prayer at heart center, or you can reach for the ground for blocks. Arms can reach forward. You can also choose to hug the left leg by wrapping the arms around and interlacing them by the shin. Take another breath and come to standing, stepping the left foot towards the back of the mat. Triangle on the right side. Right toes are facing forward, left toes are turned out, arms are at a T, and you reach all the way forward towards the front of the room, create space in the sides of the body, and drop the right hand down towards the ground, a block or your shin, reaching left fingertips towards the ceiling, and squeeze and engage the muscles of the quad and the muscles around the knee to help lengthen through the hamstring of the right leg. Deep breath into the chest, and if you have the space, you can bind the left arm at the low back. Gently shrugging the shoulder blade down the back. Take a deep breath, allow it to feel revitalizing, nourishing. Lift the left fingertips towards the top of the mat, bicep comes towards the ear. Taking Gyan Mudra with that left hand. Again, deep breath into the belly. Turn towards the top of the mat, step the left foot up to meet the right. Inhale to a flat back and fold over those legs. Flat back and fold forward. Weight is in the heels and the toes. Slowly rolling up to standing. Arms sweep up towards the ceiling. Right leg comes in towards the torso and across the left knee for figure 4 position. Hands come to heart center or down to the ground. Using your toes as a way to balance yourself, squeezing the ground. Feel the muscles of your foot really engaged. And you can reach around and wrap your arms around the right leg before coming into standing. Stepping the right and left foot back for downward facing dog. Take a moment here. Before finding three-legged dog, right toes come up to the sky and into deep lizard lunge. Right foot comes to the outside of the mat. Both hands are on the inside of the right leg. We'll start active, so toes are tucked, back knee is lifted still. And then we'll drop the back knee and tuck the toes. Bring the right hand to the right knee and start to push the knee out towards the long edge of the mat as you twist towards the right side. So there's a twist and a hamstring stretch here as you sink your hips down towards the ground, making sure that your knee is pretty stacked over the ankle. And come back to facing forward. Drop the forearms down to the mat. If your hips are really tight, you can turn the toes out or come onto the outer blade edge of the foot. But making sure that knee stays stacked over the ankle and remembering to breathe. Let's find a quad stretch, bending through the left leg. Reach around with the right arm and grab the left toes. Drawing the heel in towards the glutes. And then relax that muscle through the quadricep. You'll notice it really tightens. You'll start to get tense and maybe we'll stop breathing for a second. See if you can come back to breathing. Release the muscles in the quad and allow them to lengthen in this stretch. Release the left toes and come back onto your hands. We'll find a modified pyramid pose where our right leg is straightened and we're high on the heel of the right foot. And with the right arm, you can wrap it around the right calf, drawing your torso down towards your right leg. And you can drop the foot, changing the stretch so you feel it more on the top side of the leg. And we'll find a bind, bringing the right arm to the inside of the leg, wrapping it around the hamstring. The left arm binds at the low back, and then the fingertips connect. And we'll bend into the right leg for a bound side angle and straighten the leg back out. Take in any adjustments you need, staying as long as you'd like, but for the purposes here, we'll come back into down dog, release the arms. And once you're in down dog, reach the left toes towards the sky and bring it through for deep lizard lunge. Left toes come to the outside of the mat and we're starting active. Back toes, back knee lifted, back toes tucked. And drop the back knee, untuck the toes. Bring your left hand to your left knee, pushing the knee towards the long edge of the mat, coming onto the outer blade edge of the foot, sinking the hips down towards the ground, breathing through any discomfort you may be feeling. Soften the muscles of the face, soften through the hip flexor. Surrender your body down to the ground as you come back through center and down to your forearms, making sure the knee stays stacked over the ankle. And wherever you are, you can breathe. Notice if you start to tense up in any way. Notice if your mind starts to wander or try to distract itself from the discomfort, and see if you can come back to the sensation. They have done many studies where people who practice yoga actually have a higher tolerance for pain. And sorry for that side note, but we'll take a quad stretch, bending through the right leg. Left arm reaches around for the right toes, drawing the heel down towards the glutes. And if you're not there yet, focus on a mind to muscle action. So you're imagining that your hand is reaching and is already touching your toes. Mind to muscle action. And modified pyramid pose on the left side, straighten through that leg, high on the heel of the left foot. Drop your chest down towards the ground. Left arm can hook around the calf as well to help draw the torso down. And you can drop the foot, the toes to the ground to switch the stretch. Start to feel it towards the top of that left leg now. And we'll find that bind. Left arm comes to the inside of the leg, reaches up for those right fingertips as the right arm reaches and hooks around the low back. Release the arms. Feel free to stay as long as you'd like, but we'll step the right foot to the top of the mat, to the outer edge of the mat. Both feet are on the long edge of the mat, toes out, heels in, and you'll sink your hips down towards the ground for Malasana Yogi Squat. Really thinking about drawing the tailbone down towards the ground, crown of the head towards the ceiling, shrugging those shoulders down the back. Hands are at heart center, so your elbows can gently push your knees out. And we'll roll down onto our spines here, finding happy baby. Peace sign grip comes to the big toes or to the long edge of the foot. As you gently draw your knees down towards the ground, down towards your armpits. Release the feet and we'll come into a supine twist. Right leg stacks on top of left, and we'll drop the legs down over to the left side of the mat. Your arms can come out to a T, or they can come to the top of your mat and switch sides. Left leg stacks on top of right. Drop your knees over to the right side of the mat, keeping your shoulder blades glued to the mat. Come back through center and let's take a Shavasana before ending practice, taking as long as you'd like here. And I'm wishing you a day filled with health, wealth, and happiness.